So here we are having another podcast. It's the trustees of the HOCl Trust, and today we're going to talk about the cost of HOCl versus other cleaning, sanitary, sterilizing, biocidal materials. So,
Mm.
Christopher, you've been doing your homework in the supermarket, haven't you? Other
That's right. I had a little wander around a couple of supermarkets and looked at the miscellany of products that allegedly sanitize or sterilize as well as clean. In fact, it's very difficult to find something that does solely one or the other. And this goes sort of right the way up from ordinary bleach products to things like Domestos, which have got various other additives in it. But the cost was quite horrendous. I mean, at one stage, it's anything between about £1.75 a litre for 750 mils,
Hmm.
going up to £6 a litre for things like Jay's fluid. And it's quite, so you just didn't quite know where you stand. Um, and you know, okay, the presentation is such that you've got squirty bottles and so on, but um, it, it there's no contest when it comes to price because we all know HOCl solutions can be mixed to a concentration that is effective and cost pence. Um, but
That's right. If you take, say, one of our small sachets of 20 NADCC tablets.
mm,
An ADCC tablet can make a liter of 1,000 part per million
yeah,
product HOCl, which is incredibly strong. I mean, it's way beyond anything you'll need to use for anything, because everything will, you know,
yeah,
come to a far more dilute solution,
mm,
wouldn't it? So
mm,
yeah, so if you've got 295 divided by 20, you've got 15 pence. So that's one tablet is worth 15 pence. And
yeah,
yet solution will probably be diluted down at least 10 times.
yeah.
So
One
yeah,
and a
we're
half
talking
pence.
about yeah, 1.5p per application or something. But I think what you're doing with what's happening with those big brands is they're charging for the other materials that go in there, so the fragrances and things like that. They're
Mm,
charging for their advertising, the manufacturing, their
mm,
brands sort
mm,
of, it's whereas with HOCl it's unbranded and it's just pennies in a bottle under your cabinet, and
Mm.
it'll do everything that everything else does.
The big advantage with HOCl is that there are no further additives. There are no other components in the mix. So it's entirely safe to use it on surfaces, but also on the skin, in the mouth,
mm,
so on and so forth, because it doesn't have those materials added to it.
Exactly. And I think, NADCC tablets can come with detergents and with
Good point.
other materials. And I think that's something we discovered, didn't we, during the COVID era when we were trying to
Hmm.
supply
Indeed.
tablets, or at least trying to educate the NHS that they had the tablets in the cupboard available on the supply chain. They had NADCC tablets that they could easily make HOCl with, but many of them were purchasing the tablets with the detergent in, which they shouldn't use and couldn't use because it would affect the HOCl. So yeah, that is something that we did learn during that time, didn't we?
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Um, but
And
yeah,
Chris and I were just discussing prior to starting the podcast about adding our own detergent in just to spread the stuff further. Washing up liquid or whatever it may be. But there is a danger that unless it's chosen very carefully, those detergents and the other ingredients that go into the mix can absorb some of the HOCl and render it harmless. So
yeah,
it's always worth using it as neat in a solution as can possibly be. Or
Mm,
when it mixes with organic materials, sure, it's picked up, but it's picked up by the microbes as well. but you ought to make sure that as much as available as possible to do that. That's best by having it in
And when you mean
plain water
harmless, you
solution.
mean render it harmless to the things that you're trying to kill.
Yes, absolutely.
Harmless to us.
Thank
It's
you for
harmless to
correcting
us, but it's
Yeah.
we want it harmful to the things that we're trying to
Yes, indeed.
eradicate. So
That should have
yeah,
been
just
clear.
clarify that. Yeah, it's harmless is not a bad thing, but it's also not.
No, it's this great contradiction, isn't it? You come across with HOCl. Like Charlie said to me at the very beginning of my experience with HOCl, it kills everything, but it's completely safe. And you think, how can that be? It's just impossible.
Safe, but it kills everything.
But it's true, isn't it? It's true. And if you're a microbe, it's deadly. If you're a human, it's safe.
Yeah.
A better way of putting it, maybe. But
yeah.
on that theme of cost effectiveness, my calculations also came out to pence per tablet. I mean, it's ridiculously cheap. And so it wins hands down on cost. But there's another factor that we've got to introduce here as well. In the bleach, which is the thing that HOCl is most commonly confused with and compared with, is a product that contains sodium hydroxide, otherwise known as caustic soda. And that preserves the active ingredient, the killing agent. But it also reduces its ability to kill microbes by about 80 to 100 times less so than HOCl. Wow. So there's a factor of roughly 100 you can put in favor of HOCl as a biocide in that equation, which essentially for the same amount of chlorine, the price difference is unbelievably in favor of HOCl.
And actually, we were looking at our expensive product, which is the sachet of 20 at $2.95. You can get 200 in a tub for $8.95, and for a whole case of 6 of those tubs, I mean, really, it just gets to the point where you paid for nothing. Paid nothing.
I was working it out at less than 5p.
Really, just works down at nothing. It's 4 pence per tablet at 200 tablets. So if you've got a whole box of 1,200, for 30 odd pounds, I think it is. Wow, you're paying nothing. Yeah. The other cost we haven't discussed is the cost of using the detergents in terms of the environmental cost, because that's a cost that actually impacts a little bit further down the line, and we all end up paying for that one way or another, don't we? So you can interpret the word cost in both financial and sort of ecological terms. And that's food for thought as well. I've been trying to get rid of a whole box full of harmful detergenty type things from my son's flat when he gave up his flat to go traveling, and nobody will have them because they're like oh, but they're horrible, we don't use those things anymore, So,
my undersink looks like a chemical warfare inventory. There's just unbelievable quantities of toxic chemicals in there.
Have you not spoken to your wife, Hugh? Do you not have any say in the shopping?
I should have kept quiet about that, really, shouldn't I? But that's what you face. The difference is amazing.
The other question that Rosalind raised over supper was, well, what happens when you throw HOCl solution away and it goes down the sink? Is it going to screw up our septic tank?
It'll get absorbed by all the organic material, won't it?
The breakdown results in the formation of chlorates. That's all.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not because obviously they're a good fermentation pot by definition.
Well, it's always the dose that determines the effect, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
We use so little of it in domestic circumstances to keep things clean and neat. I think the slightest bit of organic content in that sort of situation would mop up the chlorine straight away. And the rest would degrade into chlorates, which are water soluble, and they'd be lost eventually.
Oh, I'll reassure her on that point.
I think you can, Chris.
Certainly better for your septic tank than the toxic stuff.
Yep.
So HOCl is an outstanding winner in every category yet again, isn't it?
Yes, it wins hands down. And so if you're interested in HOCl. If you've got any questions that you'd like us to answer, then just go to the contact page on the website, drop us an email, and we'll get back to you usually very, very quickly. So, yes, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast, and thank you very much, chaps, for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Bye for now.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.